So if you've been giving, if you've been giving, and there's categories of giving, there's tithes and offerings, there is sowing into ministry, there is giving unto the poor. But if you've been giving and you have seed in the ground, then you got to believe Philippians 4:19, that Apostle Tony and Apostle Cynthia can say what Apostle Paul said. My God shout because you gave. My God shout because you gave. My God shout because you gave, because you got seed in the ground. You got to preach to yourself and remind yourself that you got seed in the ground, that you have a blood-bought covenant right to walk up under an open heaven. Say amen to that. My God shall supply all your need according to his riches, not your riches, not what you, matter of fact, it's not even based on the level. You give, and then, yeah, God gives to you, but he gives to you multiplied. Say amen to that. Amen. You got to know that God is your source. Say, God is my source. God is my source. In Matthew chapter 10, I'm not even going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to quote it. In Matthew chapter 10, Jesus is leading up to Matthew chapter 10. Jesus is going out and performing miracles. And in Matthew chapter 10, he finishes up his team. He picks Matthew. Now he has 12 disciples. He gets the group together. He says, hey, guys, now you guys are going to go out and do what I just did. You've been watching me do it. Now you guys are going to go do it, and you're going to go out. I want you to go heal the sick. I want you to go raise the dead. I want you to go lay hands on lepers. I want you to go do cast out devils and demons. I want you to go do it. And it was like, us? How are we going to do it? He said, freely you receive, freely you give. And then this is what he said in Matthew 10. He said, now, when you go, you can't take any money with you. You know why? Because he was like, if you can't trust me for $10, how are you going to trust me to cast out demons? If you can't trust me for a sandwich, if you can't trust me for where to sleep, if you can't trust me for what to eat, then when somebody does have leprosy and the Holy Spirit is saying lay hands, you're going to be like, I ain't touching that, because you can't trust God for money. Remember when we were teaching on the spirit of mammon? This is the least of all riches, is money. Money is the least of all riches. You have to be able, you got to pass the money test. You got to get to the point where you know that God is your source. Say, God is my source. So then he said this. He says, Elder Reed, you cannot take anything with you. You know why? Because a workman will be given what he needs. As you go, whatever you need has already been provided. But you're not going to discover it until you go. This is why you got to stop this mess. I'm sure you met people that always finna do something. Right? They finna do this and they finna do that. And they finna start this business. And they finna go ahead and get this done. And they finna launch out. And then they always finna do something, but they don't do nothing. And so what they do is they hypothesize and strategize and analyze and theorize. And at some point, you got to go do something, because God can do more with you once you get started. He says, the power is not going to come until you go. He says, you're going to go out there. It's all in Matthew chapter 10. He says, you're going to go, and when you go, you're going to get arrested. I'm letting you know right now. You're going to get arrested. And when you get arrested, they're going to bring you before some people, and you're going to have to give an answer. And when you have to give an answer, don't worry about what to say. At that moment, you'll be given what to say. And it was the same thing with the money. You go, and whatever you need. Later on in Luke was the only one that documented it. Later on in Luke, he said, hey, guys, remember when I sent you out? They said, yeah, we remember that. He said, did you lack anything? They said, we lack nothing.